Hello guys, welcome to the session. So continuing with the TCS Code Vita series, the problem which we'll be seeing today is reverse gear problem. Okay, it's actually a easy problem, but at the same time, it requires you to think a lot. Okay, as I always say, we will have a naive solution, a solution which anybody could get, and there is a optimized solution for this. Okay, so it's up to you on the way you think and get the best solution. Okay, so let's get started. Take a look at the question first. Okay, take a minute to read the question. Pause the video if you want to. I'll just read it line by line and note down the important points alone. Okay, look at the first line. They're telling you a futuristic company is building an autonomous car. The scientists at the company are training the car to perform reverse parking, which means the car is supposed to perform reverse parking. Clear? That's said in the first line. Now, moving to the next line. To park, the car needs to be able to move in backward as well as forward direction. Okay, so the car can move in backward direction, as well as forward direction. Okay, so the car is programmed to move backwards by b meters and forwards again say f meters in a straight line. Okay, so it will move in backward and forward direction. In backward direction it will move by b meters. In forward direction it will move by f meters. Clear? This is the data I have about the car. We'll note it down. The car moves both in forward f meters and backward b meters. Okay, this is the distance covered. It can move both in forward and backward directions, but it will move only in a straight line. Okay, don't bother about getting a zigzag path. Okay, so it moves in forward and backward direction in a straight line. In forward direction it covers f meters, in backward direction it covers b meters. Okay, look at the next line. The car does this repeatedly until it is able to park or collides with other objects. Okay, so the car will move in forward and backward direction. As we said already, car requires to do reverse parking. Yes, so until it is parked or until it collides with other objects, the car shall keep moving. Okay, car will keep doing this repeatedly until it could park, or if it collides with some other object also it will stop. Okay, that is the next point. Car moves until it is parked or collided. Okay, now look at the last data given to us. The car covers 1 meter in t units of time. See, I told you it moves forward by f meters and it moves backward by b meters, right? So, to cover 1 meter, it requires t units of time. So, don't assume it will cover 1 meter in 1 second. Sometimes it will cover 1 meter in 5 seconds. Sometimes it will cover 1 meter in 10 seconds or 10 minutes. It could be any unit of time. T units of time. That unit could be seconds or hours or minutes or whatever data. Okay, so you will be given the data about time taken to cover 1 meter. Okay, look at the last line, most important line. There is a wall after a distance d from the car's initial position in backward direction. Okay, so in backward direction, the car is standing at a position behind the car. Backward direction means behind the car there is a wall at a distance of d meters. Okay, so let us just recap the data we have so far. The car should perform reverse parking. Yes, the car can move in both forward and backward direction by f meters and b meters. Right? Next point, car will keep moving until it is parked or it is collided. Okay, car moves until parked or collided. Now what did we learn? The last data which we learned is the car can move 1 meter in t seconds, right? T units of time. It could be minutes or hours or seconds, whatever unit. Okay. So car moves 1 meter in t units of time. Okay. And last point, there is a wall at a distance d behind the car at the backward direction of the car. So there is a wall at a distance d from the initial position of the car in backward direction. Okay. So if you keep seeing this as statements, it is not going to be easy to understand. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to imagine a picture with this data. Okay. So how can we imagine that? Remember this set of data. With this set of data, I'm going to form a image. Okay. Let us assume there is a road. There is a plain surface. It may be a road or a parking space, anything. Okay. There is a plain surface and we are dealing with a car here. So let me assume there is a car on this road. Clear? We have a plain surface. On this plain surface, there is a car. Now, recollect the question. What is the data we have about the car? The car can move forward by f meters. Remember, the car will move in forward direction by f meters. Similarly, the car will move in backward direction by b meters. Forward by f meters, backward by b meters. Okay, this is the data in the first two lines. Car is going to perform reverse parking. It moves forward by f meters and it moves backward by b meters. Okay. Now what did they tell you after this? There is a wall in the backward direction. So there is a wall behind the car. This is the car. Right side is forward, left side is backward, which means the wall is behind the car. What is the distance they are telling you? The car and the wall are separated by a distance of d meters. Okay, this is the data we have so far. Okay, it moves forward by f meters, backward by b meters, distance is d meters, and there is one more data also. Remember, time taken to cover 1 meter. So you are also given time taken to cover 1 meter is t seconds. This is your given data. Okay, I hope I made it clear. Imagine it this way. Always look at your problem like this. For the reverse gear problem, look at the problem like this. Only then you'll be able to understand. Okay. So here you should always imagine a car which is moving both in forward and backward direction, and imagine there is a wall behind the car. So we will be provided with this data. You will be given the value of f, you will be given the value of b, the value of t, and the value of t. So based on these values, you will be asked to do some kind of operation. Okay. So now you take a look at the remaining part of the question. So far, I only explained the problem statement. What is the car going to do? How will the car move? Only the problem statement is explained. Now take a look at what should you do. Okay. The car is currently not without defects. Not without means the car is currently with the defects. Okay. Car has some defects and hence it often hits the wall. The car will hit the wall. Okay. So the scientists are devising a strategy to prevent this from happening. They are still thinking about a way to stop the car hitting the wall. Yes. So what is our job here? Look at this line. Your task is to help the scientists by providing them with exact information on amount of time available. Look at this. Amount of time available before the car hits the wall. So, based on the data that is provided to you, you are going to calculate how much time is left before the car hits the wall. Okay, so that is what we are going to calculate. Calculate the amount of time available before the car hits the wall. So, in our given data, this is the data we have already, right? So now I'm going to add what should be found here. What should we find here? Time taken for the car to hit the wall. We are going to find out time taken to hit the wall. Okay, so how much, guys, they generally said units of time. I told you units of time could be seconds or minutes or hours. For convenience, for our convenience, I've taken it as seconds. It is not mentioned in the question, but I don't want to say it as minutes or hours, so I've just assumed unit of time is seconds. Okay, so what we have to do is we need to calculate time taken to hit the wall. So after how many seconds will we hit the wall? This is a question asked for us. Yes. So I hope the problem statement is clear. Okay. Based on the data given, you need to calculate when will the car hit the wall. Okay. Okay. So now let us take a look at what is going to be the input and output format. Okay. So input format, first line contains total number of test cases denoted by n. I think you'll be familiar with this line by now, which means you will not consider only one scenario, we will consider multiple scenarios. So, as always, first I'll consider there is only one scenario. What is that scenario? I have just one car and it moves forward and backward direction. I'm going to calculate the time taken to hit the wall. Okay, first we'll do it for one car, then we'll repeat the same process for multiple cars. Okay, so now it contains four values delimited by space. The four values are separated by space. What are the four values? F, B, T, D. F is nothing but forward displacement. B is backward displacement. T is time taken. D denotes distance. What distance? From the car to the wall. So these are the four datas we'll receive. First, let me receive it. Okay, we have four variables so far. F, B, T, D. All these will be received as input separated by space. So percentage D space, percentage D space, percentage D. Okay. So the first data is going to be F value, B value, T and D. So F, B, T and D. Clear? So whatever is given in the input is obtained. Now look at the output format and constraints. Here they are saying for each test case you are going to print the time taken by the car to hit the wall. So what should I do? I should calculate time taken to hit the wall. So my final output is percentage D comma time taken. Clear? Get the input, do some calculations and print the time taken to hit the wall. Okay. So this calculation part is where our programming lies. Okay. We'll come back to the calculation part. Now look at the constraints. See, they are telling you backward displacement will be greater than forward displacement. That makes sense because the wall is lying behind us, right? If I move like 10 meters in forward direction and 5 meters in backward direction, then I cannot park the car at all. Yes, you should have it as 10 meters in backward direction and 5 meters in forward direction. In that case, I can park the car. But if forward displacement is greater than backward displacement, you cannot go near the wall. To go near the wall, backward displacement should be greater than forward displacement. Yes, you need not check this at all. They have mentioned it in constraints, which means this is how the input will be. When they give you the input, backward displacement will be greater than forward displacement. Okay, and forward displacement F is greater than 0, backward displacement B is greater than 0, time T is greater than 0, distance D is greater than 0, which means all values are positive integers only. Okay, so when they give you the input, you don't have to bother about having negative values because they have clearly said all input values will be positive integers only. Okay. And one more thing you should note here is important point. First move will always be in backward direction. So even though the car can move in both forward and backward direction, first it will move in backward direction, then it will move in forward direction. Yes, because they said it will keep repeating this process until it parts or collides with an object. Yes, so it will move backwards, then forwards, again backward, then forward. So first movement will be in backward direction, the following movements will be in forward and backward direction repeatedly. Okay, let us consider an example first. We'll work on the example. Once we understand the example, we'll be able to develop the program. Okay, so here, so what are the four data they will give you? They'll tell you about forward distance, backward distance, time taken to cover 1 meter. This time is nothing but time taken to cover 1 meter and distance between car and the wall. Yes, these are the four data that will be provided for us. Okay. Now let us assume some values here. Okay. So I'm going to, just for explanation purpose, I'm going to assume forward distance is 6 meters. Okay. The car moves in forward direction by 6 meter and it moves in backward direction by 9 meters. Okay. The time taken. What is this time taken? Time taken to cover 1 meter. Let us assume time taken to cover 1 meter is 3 seconds. Okay. It moves forward by 6 meter, backward by 9 meter. Time taken to cover 1 meter is 3 seconds. Now, distance to wall. So, let us assume the distance to the wall is 18 meter. Okay. This is the data I have. As I always say, don't look at it in the form of a text. For this problem, it is better to imagine as a picture. Okay, so let me derive a picture with this data. So we have a plane surface. Initially, we will have a plane surface. We will have a car, and car can move in forward and backward direction. What is the data given in the previous slide? In forward direction, it can move by 6 meters. In backward direction, it can move by 9 meters. This is the data we have so far. And what is the distance? Behind the car, we have a wall. Yes. So the distance between car and the wall is 18 meter. Okay. Data we have so far. One more data is time taken. So the time taken to cover 1 meter is 3 seconds. Clear? This is the data I have. Car can move forward by 6 meters, backward by 9 meters. There is a wall at 18-meter distance and time taken to cover 1 meter is 3 seconds. Okay. So we need to calculate, what should we calculate? The time required to hit the wall. Okay, so recollect the points we read in the question. The first movement will be in backward direction. First move will be in backward direction. After moving in backward direction, it will move in forward direction. Okay, and what else? Initial distance covered by the car. Initially, the car is at rest. So, initial distance covered by the car will be 0 meters. It hasn't moved at all. So, it has covered 0 meter. Okay. This is the initial setup which I call as step 0. Okay. I haven't started the process. I'm just representing the initial data. Now, for the next step, step 1. You know the initial arrangement. There is a car and the wall is 18 meter. What happens in step 1? Car moves in backward direction by 9 meter. First it will move in backward direction, right? So if it moves in backward direction, car will be closer to the wall. Yes, since it has moved in backward direction, car will be closer to the wall. In this case, what is the distance between the car and the wall? The distance between the car and the wall will be 9 meters. Clear? Like that, we are going to proceed with the problem. Okay. So instead of doing it here, I'll do it in the Excel sheet. Okay. So imagine it this way. Step 0. What did we say as step 0? There is a wall and 18 meters from the wall we have the car. Okay. So let's observe what happens in each step. Okay. As I've already just created the structure alone. So what I've done here is this indicates the steps. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 10 indicates the steps. So we have the initial setup. What is the initial setup? There is a wall. 18 meters from the wall, we have a car. Okay. What happens in step 1? First step will be in backward direction. Remember, first step will be in backward direction. What is the data? Backward direction we cover 9 meters. Forward direction we cover 6 meter. Okay. So initially the distance covered is 0 meter. This is what I have. Backward I'll move by 9 meters. Forward will move by 6 meter. The distance covered initially is 0 meter. Okay. So in step 1 we are going to move in backward direction. Okay. How many meters? 9 meters. So car moves in backward direction. Car will be somewhere over here. Okay. Now what will be the distance? Okay. Car is somewhere closer to the wall. It has moved backward by 9 meters. So the distance will be 9 meters. Clear? So how much distance is traveled by the car? The distance traveled by the car is, okay, I'll note down the distance here. Initial distance is 0 meter. Now it has moved backward by 9 meter. So current distance is 9 meter. Okay. After moving in backward direction, second step will be in forward direction. That is what they said in the question. It is not going to move backward all the time. It is not going to move forward all the time. It will move backward, then it will move forward. Okay. So if it goes forward, it will cover 6 meters. Okay. So the car which is standing here will move forward and cover 6 meter. Okay. So now if you observe, it has moved away from the wall. Since it moved in forward direction, it has moved away from the wall. What will be the distance now? See, initially the distance was 9 meter. Now I have moved forward by 6 meter. So the distance will be 15 meters. Okay. And what is the total distance traveled by the car? It has covered 9 meters in first step, 6 meters in second step. So the total distance covered is 15 meter. Okay. Has it hit the wall? No. You need to know when will it hit the wall. Yes. First step is in backward direction. Second step is in forward direction. So third step will be in backward direction. It moves backward and forward repeatedly. Yes. So third step will be in backward direction. How much distance will it move in backward direction? 9 meters. Okay. So the car which is lying here will move backward by 9 meters. Okay. Okay. So initially the distance was 15 meters. Now since it has moved backward, the distance will be 6 meters. Clear? Yes. From 15 meters, it has moved backward by 9 meters, right? So the remaining will be 6 meters. What is the total distance covered by the car? Initially it covered 15 meters. Now it has moved another 9 meter. So 24 meter. The car has traveled a total distance of 24 meter. Okay. Next step, it will move forward. So this car will move forward. Fourth step, it will move forward. Okay. So the car moves forward. Now what will be the distance? Initially the distance was 6 meter. If it moves forward, forward distance is another 6 meter. So it will cover 12 meters. The distance to the wall is 12 meter. Okay, so what is the total distance covered? Initially it was 24 meter. Now we have covered another 6 meter. We have moved forward by 6 meter. So the total distance covered is 30 meter. Okay. Okay. Next step, move in backward direction. After finishing forward, move in backward. So from 12 meters, we will move in backward direction. Okay. When I move in backward direction, what is going to be the distance? From 12 meters, we move in backward direction by how many meters? 9 meters. So the current distance will be 3 meter. Current distance is 3 meter. Okay, so far the distance covered was 30 meter. By moving backwards I have covered 9 more meters, so the distance is 39 meter. Okay, this is the total distance traveled by the car. Initially I have covered 30 meters. By moving backward I have covered 9 meters, so the total distance is 39 meters. Okay. Okay, next step, sixth step, we will move in forward direction. By how many meters? 6 meters. So the car will move in forward direction. The distance is going to be 6 meter. Clear? From backward 3 meters, it moves forward by 6 meters. Sorry, the answer will be 9 meters. Yes, from 3 meters, it has moved ahead by 6 meter. So the distance will be 9 meter. What is the distance covered? 6 meter distance. So the total distance will be 39 plus 6, which is 45 meter. The car has covered a total of 45 meter. Okay. Next step, seventh step, it will move in backward direction. Now look at it. The distance from car to the wall is 9 meter. If it moves in backward direction it will cover 9 meters. Clear? Distance between wall and the car is 9 meter. If it moves in backward direction, the distance will be 9 meter. So at this point, car will go back by 9 meters and hit the wall. Can you understand? At seventh step, when I reach the seventh step, what happens is car moves back by 9 meters. The distance is also 9 meters. So it will hit the wall. After traveling how many meters? 9 meters. So initially the distance was 45. Now if we travel 9 meters, answer will be 54 meter. Is it clear? So now the car has hit the wall. What did they ask us in the question? Time taken by the car to hit the wall. Yes? Okay. Look at the data I have here. We have it as, what is the total distance covered by the car? The car has to cover, the car has to cover 54 meters to hit the wall. Okay. The car has to cover 54 meters to hit the wall. The data given to us is 3 seconds are required to cover 1 meter. Right? This is the data given in the question. 3 seconds are required to cover 1 meter. So, to cover 54 meter, we require 54 into 3 seconds. Okay, what is 54 into 3 seconds? 162 seconds. This 162 seconds is our output. That is what they are asking us in the question. After how much time will the car hit the wall? The car should travel 54 meters to hit the wall. Yes, to cover this 54 meter, the car requires 162 seconds. Okay, so after 162 seconds, the car will hit the wall. This is what we are supposed to give in the output. I hope I made the problem statement clear. Okay, so here first, I'll tell you how to approach this problem in a basic method. Okay. So what can I do here? First step is car is moving backwards. First step, car moves backwards. If it moves backwards, the distance covered, the distance between wall and the car will reduce. Yes, when the car moves backward, okay, first step is car moves backward. When the car moves backward, the distance reduces. Okay, if the initial distance was 18, reduce the distance covered in backward. Initial distance is 18. In backward direction, I will cover 9 meters. So reduce this 9 meters, we will get the answer. Clear? For the first step. What happens? After moving in backward direction, we will move in forward direction. Car moves forward. Okay. After moving backward, the car moves forward. So when it moves forward, distance will increase by f meters. Is it clear? When it moves backward, distance reduces by b meters. When it moves forward, distance increases by f meters. Okay. Okay. Next thing. Do you remember whenever I calculated the distance, there is one thing I did parallelly. What is the total distance covered by the car? You need to know the total distance covered by the car. Why should we know that? Because only based on the total distance I can calculate the time required. Yes. So whenever the car moves, add the distance covered by the car. Okay. Whenever the car moves, calculate how much distance is covered by the car. So we are going to calculate total distance covered by the car. Initially, total distance will be 0 meters. If it moves backward, it covers b meters. Total distance plus b. Okay. If it moves backward, it covers b meters. So, to the previous distance, add b meters. Similarly, if it moves forward, total distance equal to total distance plus f. Okay. If it moves backward, add the distance of backward direction. If it moves forward, add the distance of forward direction. Okay. So now what happens? First it moves backward, then it moves forward. Again, after moving backward and forward, third step, it will move backward again. Clear? So after doing this, it will go back and repeat the same process. So moving forward and backward will be repeated. Okay. First it moves backward, we have the distance. Then it moves forward, we have the distance. This is going to be repeated. So a loop. You have a for loop or a while loop, that is up to you. No compulsion at all. Okay. So when should we stop? See, when will I hit the wall? When the car moves backward, when the car moves backward, there is a possibility of hitting the wall. Right? When the car moves backward, there is a possibility of hitting the wall. Okay? If car hits the wall, stop moving the car. Correct? This is a logic we have discussed already. When the car is moving backward, see, when I go forward, I can't hit the wall. When the car is moving backward, there is a possibility of hitting the wall. So, when the car moves backward, there is a chance of hitting the wall. You need to check whether the car can hit the wall. If the car can hit the wall, then you have to stop moving the car, right? Because that is my expectation. When will it hit the wall? So once you find out that the car hits the wall, stop the process. How can I find it out? If the car has to hit the wall, think of it logically. D is the D is the distance between car and wall. Yes. B is the distance covered backward. Okay. So if the car has to hit the wall, this distance B, this distance B should be less than or equal to the distance D. Can you understand? I'm moving in backward direction, guys. If I have to hit the wall, see, I'm moving in backward direction. If I have to hit the wall, this distance should be equal to the distance I cover. Okay, look at the highlighted cells. Okay, look at these two cells alone. If I have to hit the wall, the distance should be equal to the distance I can cover, or even if this is 8 meters, imagine if this distance is 8 meters and I can cover 9 meters, then also I will hit the wall. Can you understand? So this distance D should be less than or equal to B. Is that what I've written? Sorry, yeah. D should be less than or equal to B. Only when the distance is less than or same as B. Here the distance is 8 meter, but I can cover 9 meters. So definitely I'll hit the wall. So if the distance is less than or equal to B, then I can say the car hits the wall. If the car hits the wall, stop moving the car, so brake. Okay, but what about the distance covered? Even though I have 8 meters, I should travel this 8 meters. Only then I can hit the wall. Yes. So whatever distance is remaining, travel that distance to hit the wall. So to the total distance, add the remaining distance. Okay, don't add B value, guys, because if it is 8 meter, you need to cover only this 8 meter. You don't have to cover 9 meters. You can't cross the wall. If you collide the wall, you will stop. So whatever distance is remaining at the end, take cover that distance alone. So the remaining distance is taken and added to total distance. Okay, this is the concept. Yes, so there are three scenarios we are dealing here. I'm checking whether the car can hit the wall, or I'm checking whether it moves backward or if it moves forward. Okay, so until this brake is executed, we will repeat the loop. So I'll just have it as an infinite loop. So until the brake is executed, process will continue. Okay, now finally we need to calculate time taken. How will I calculate time taken? Time taken is nothing but for 1 meter we require 3 seconds. So in this case, to cover the total distance into T. T is time taken for 1 meter. I have covered these many meters. So the total distance into time will give you the total time taken. Okay. So I'm going to work it for the test case which we have been dealing with. Okay, what is the test case? We have it as F is equal to 6 meter, B is equal to 9 meter, T is equal to 3 seconds, and distance is equal to 18 meter. Okay, forward by 6 meters, backward by 9 meters, time taken is 3 seconds, and the initial distance is 18 meter. Okay, so we are going to work for this scenario. 6, 9, 3, 18. What is the order we follow here? Order is forward distance, backward distance, time, and distance between wall and the car. Okay, 6, 9, 3, 18. What is our expected output here? Our expected output is 162 seconds. Let us check that. You get the right output, 162 seconds. Yes, so this is a naive coding. Okay, anybody could come up with the solution. So if you look at it, we are using a loop here. like how the car moves, what will happen to the car. So every step that I told you here is implemented in the program. We are literally moving the car forward and backward direction until it hits the wall. So I think we'll be familiar with this concept. If I tell you a huge distance, and if you are going to work for that big amount of distance, this test case will not work, this type of problem will not work. Yes. So the next thing we are going to do is, for the same problem, instead of moving the car forward and backward, we are going to determine directly how it works. Okay, we'll try to determine directly how after how many seconds the car will hit the wall. Okay, so the next thing we are going to calculate the value. Okay guys, for an efficient technique, I'm just going to consider the part which we need here. Okay, for an efficient technique, we'll just consider the required part alone. Okay, what is the required part here? How does the car move? This is the required part. Yes, so in this part, what we'll do is, you are going to categorize it. How can we categorize it? Look at it. The first two steps is a pair. Okay, the first two steps is a pair. What happens in the pair? One backward movement and one forward movement. Okay, one backward movement and one forward movement. Similarly, next pair contains one backward movement and one forward movement. Okay, next pair contains one backward movement and one forward movement. Yes, and the last one is always going to be a backward movement only. Remember this, the last step, the last step is always backward movement only. Why? Because in the last step, I need to hit the wall. Yes, the car should hit the wall in the last step. So if you need to hit the wall, what should happen? If you need to hit the wall, you should be moving in backward direction only. You can't hit the wall if you are going in forward direction. Can you understand this? Yes, if you should hit the wall, move only in backward direction. So the last step is definitely backward direction. Clear? Okay. So now look at this. I am going to call this as a pair. Okay. This backward forward movement is called as a pair. Can you understand this? Yes, this backward and forward movement is called as a pair, and this 18 meter is called as 18 positions. I don't want you to confuse, which is why I'm telling you this 18 positions. Okay, so this is at 18 positions away, 9 positions away, 15 positions away. Imagine it like that. Okay, imagine that position means with respect to wall. Okay, position is with respect to wall. So here it is 18th position. Here it is 9th position. Here it is 15th position. Imagine it like that. Only then you'll be able to understand this concept. Okay. So when you look at each pair, what do you see in each pair? In any one pair, in each pair, we have one backward movement. How much is the backward movement? 9 meters. Same example guys. Backward movement is 9 meters. One forward movement. How much is the forward movement? 6 meters. Yes. In each pair I have one backward movement and one forward movement. So what is the distance covered? Think about it. Car moves 9 meters and then it moves 16 meters. So the distance covered is 15 meters. Okay. It travels 15 meters. But from this position, it is not moving forward by 15 meters and it is not moving backward by 15 meters. Can you understand? From this position, it is not moving forward by 15 meter. It is not moving backward by 15 meter. What happens? From this position, It moves forward by few steps, it moves backward by few steps. Can you understand this? Yes. So what happens to the actual position of the car? Let me consider current position is X. From this position, first I'll move backwards by 9 steps. Then I'll move forward. So from the backward position, I'll move forward by 6 steps. Can you understand this? From this position, backward by 9 steps and forward by 6 steps. So overall, I'm moving only by 3 steps. 3 steps backward. Can you understand this? Yes. See, from my position, I'll move backward by 9 steps and forward by 6 steps. So overall, it means I've just moved 3 steps. Am I right? From 18 meters, at the end of first pair, I've moved 3 meters. From 15 meters, after the second pair, I've moved 12 meters. From 12 meters, after the third pair, we have moved 9 meters. So at the end of each pair, 3 steps have been moved backward. Can you understand this? 3 positions are moved backward. Okay. So positions covered. Can you understand the difference between distance and position? I'm saying distance is nothing but distance traveled by car, that 9 meters, 6 meter forward and backward, that is the distance traveled by the car. But due to that travel, it will move only by 3 positions. Can you understand? Because it's traveling, it will cover only 3 positions. That is what I mean by positions covered. Okay. So let me just create the program till this point. So we'll have four inputs: forward, backward, time and distance. Scan the values: forward, backward, time and distance. Yes. So now I'm telling you, based on this data, we can calculate some data. What are the data that we can calculate? We can calculate that the positions, can calculate position of one pair. Okay, position of one pair and distance of one pair. Okay, so this is for one pair. Position and distance is for one pair. Okay, so how will you calculate the distance of one pair? The distance of one pair is nothing but sum of the two values. Okay, and position of one pair is nothing but difference of the two values. I hope this is clear. This is the important point, guys. Once you understand this, the problem will be easy. Okay. So what happens is position is nothing but the car movement at the end of each pair. How much does the car move? That is position. To come to that position, it would have moved forward and backward, right? So how much distance was traveled by the car? That is the distance. Okay. So I have the position and distance. Now, in each position, see, if I give you some data, the last set will always be a backward movement. I told you already. Yes. The last set of positions is definitely backward movement. Okay, last, if you have 9 meters or 12 meters, whatever it is, last will be backward only, no forward. Okay, last set of position will be backward only, but remaining positions will be backward and forward. Clear? That is, it will be a pair. Can you understand this? Last will be backward only, remaining will be backward and forward, which means it will be a pair. Okay. So what do you know about a pair? In a pair, there is one backward, one forward, distance covered is 15, positions covered is 3. This is what we know about a pair. Okay. So now we have remaining positions should be covered by pairs only. I'm asking you how many pairs are needed to cover the positions except last position. Can you understand the question? Yes, we'll move it step by step. Except the last position, to cover the remaining positions, how many pairs are needed? In this case, I need 3 pairs. In some other case, I will need 4 pairs. Yes, how can I calculate that? See, what is the distance? Positions remaining. Which one did I tell you to ignore? Except the last set of positions. The last set is going to be a backward movement. So from the total distance, eliminate the backward distance. Okay. From the total distance, eliminate the backward distance. That means last position is eliminated. Okay. If the last position is eliminated, remaining positions are D minus B. Okay, remaining positions are D minus B. Now the question is, what did I ask you? How many pairs are needed to cover the remaining position? Okay, I have the remaining position. The remaining position is D minus B. Now what is the pair count? Can you understand this? Except the last data, to cover the remaining positions, how many pairs are needed? This is my question. Okay. What do you know about a pair? One pair can cover 3 positions. We know that, right? One pair will cover 3 positions. I already told you how. Minus 9 plus 6 means 3 positions. So, one pair can cover 3 positions. So, X pairs can cover D minus B positions. Okay. So, here in this situation, I have D minus B is the distance, positions. Yes. How many pairs are needed? Just use basic max. One pair, 3 positions. X pair, D minus B positions. So how will you calculate value of X? X is equal to D minus B divided by 3. Or in other terms I can say pair count is equal to remaining positions divided by 3. X is nothing but number of pairs. D minus B is the remaining position except the last position. Okay. So D minus B divided by 3. Okay. I'll add it here. Pair count is equal to remaining positions divided by 3. What is this 3? 3 is nothing but positions covered. Okay. So divide by positions covered. Okay, this is the data I have till now. Now, how can I proceed further? See, first set is covered in pairs, but the remaining, the last set is covered only by backward movement. Yes, so I'm asking you how many positions should be covered by backward movement. Can you understand this? First I asked how many pairs will cover remaining positions. Now I am asking you how many positions should be covered by backward movement. See, from the total distance a set a set of positions is covered by pairs. Yes, from the total distance, a set of position is covered by pairs. I need to know how many are not covered by pairs. Which is not covered by pairs? Last set. So I need to know how many are not covered by pairs. So total distance minus positions covered by pairs. Can you understand this? Total minus positions covered by pairs. Okay. So total minus one pair covers 3 positions. So x pairs will cover x into 3 positions. Yes. So D minus positions covered. How will I get the positions covered? X into 3. D minus x into 3. This is the last set. Last set means it should be covered by backward only. Can you understand? The last set is total distance minus distance covered by pairs. So, last set is total distance minus distance covered by pairs. How will I get that? Pair count. This x is nothing but number of pairs. Yes, number of pairs into 3. What is this 3? 3 is positions. Clear? So now I have the pair count. I have how many values are left in the last set. Can you understand this? Yes. I have the pair count. What is the pair count? 3 pairs. Pair 1, pair 2, pair 3. I have 3 pairs. Each pair will cover 3 positions. Each pair will cover 3 positions. So totally I started with 8 position difference. Yes. I started with 18 positions. If this has covered 3, 3 and 3, last set will get 9 positions. Can you understand? 9 positions are covered by pairs. Last 9 positions is covered by one backward movement. Okay. So this is it about positions. So I know how many is covered by pairs and how many is covered by the last step. Okay. Now what should you do? You should calculate the total time needed. Okay, how can I calculate the total time needed? See, total time is equal to distance into total distance into time taken for 1 meter. Mathematics. Yes. What is the total distance and what is the time taken for 1 meter? Calculate that, you'll get the total time. Yes. Now, how will I get the total distance? Total distance is distance covered by pairs. Distance covered by pairs plus distance covered by last set. Clear? Yes. I'm not speaking about positions, guys. I'm speaking about distance. What distance? I'll move backward by 9 meters, forward by 6 meters. So I'll cover a total of 15 meters in one pair. Remember that? I'll cover a total of 15 meters in one pair. So here I need that distance. Okay. So one pair will cover one pair covers 15 meters. So x pairs will cover x into 15 meters. Clear? One pair covers 15 meters. So x number of pairs will cover x into 15 meters. So how will I calculate the distance covered by pairs? Distance covered by pairs is nothing but number of pairs into that distance. Pair count into distance. Can you understand this? Distance covered by pairs is number of pairs into distance covered by one pair. One pair will cover 15 meters. So 3 pairs will cover 45 meters. Okay. Plus distance covered by last set. So whatever is the distance of last set, add it. Clear? This will give you the total distance. Distance covered by pairs plus distance covered by last set. Okay. So how shall I calculate total time? Total time is equal to total distance into time taken for 1 meter. This time taken for 1 meter is given as input stored in T. Time taken for 1 meter is stored in T. So into T. That's it. Then printf percentage d total time. Okay. So what we have done here is I calculate the distance and position. Then we'll calculate the number of pairs required. Based on the number of pairs, the last set. What is the last set? To be covered only by backward movement. Based on the number of pairs, we'll get the last set. Then we'll calculate total distance and total time. Okay. So now let me execute this. Okay, I haven't declared any variable. Declare everything. Reminder position, pair count, last set, total distance and total time. Okay. So let's say I'm going to move forward by 6 meters, backward by 9 meters, 3 seconds per meter, position is 18. You get the answer as 162. I hope I made it clear till this point. Yes, this is the basic calculation, guys. No loop, nothing. Execute all the statements only once, you'll get the right answer. Okay, it is little tricky to understand because when I explain it also, I can feel that no amount of explanation is going to suffice for your understanding. Okay, so it is up to you to take the problem and work on it. Consider different test cases, work on it, you will get a clear picture about the problem. Okay, so here, okay, one more thing you should know in this problem is, copy, I'm going to show you a different test case, guys, because as I always say, the problem which you do will not satisfy all the test cases. You should always have a wider sense to analyze which test case will fail. Yes. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to find out where our program will fail. Okay. Let's consider I'll move forward by 6 meter, backward by 9 meter, t is 3 and distance is 19 meter. Last time the distance was 18 meter, this time the distance is 19 meter. Okay. Usual calculation, say initially distance covered is 0. Initially distance covered is 0. We are 19 meters away. First, I'll move in backward direction by 9 meters. So, distance will be 10 meter. Right? Then I'll move in forward direction by 6 meter. So, 16 meter. Okay, what is the distance covered? Backward 9 meter, forward 6 meter. So, total 15 meters. Okay, from here, again I'll move backward by 9 meters. So, 16 minus 9 will be 7. Yes, 16 minus 9 is 7. So, 7 meter distance. Okay. How much did we travel? Backward by 9 meter. So, 24 meter. Next case, move forward by 6 meters. So, 7 plus 16 will give you 13 meter. We have moved forward by 6 meter. So, 30. Next case, from this 13 meter, go backward. 13, 9 will give you 4 meter. Okay, I have moved backward by 9 meters, so 39 meters. Again, move forward. When you move forward, it will be 10 meters. From 4 meter, move forward by 6 meter, answer will be 10 meters. Since I have covered 6 meter, total distance is 45. Now what happens is, from this 10 meter, we will move back by 9 meters. Okay, from this 10 meter, move back by 9 meters. So we will be at a distance of 1 meter. Can you understand this? Yes, from this 10 meter, go backward, you will be at a distance of 1 meter. Then again, okay, if I move backward, distance is 1 meter. So 8th step, move forward. 8th step, we will move forward. Forward by how many steps? 6 meters. Okay. So here I have traveled backward by 9 meter. Total is 54. When I move forward by 6 meter, the distance will be 7 meters. Okay. So the car is placed after 7 meters. Can you understand this? Yes. Next time we will move backward. Okay, ninth step, I will move backward. We have the wall here. See, the distance between car and the wall is 7 meters. When I move backward, I can go back by 9 meters. Which one comes first? The wall will come within 7 meters. So the distance traveled will not be 9 meters. Distance traveled will be 7 meters. Because with the 7 meters, I will hit the wall. Can you understand this? Yes. So 54 plus 7 will give the answer as 61 meters. Right? So the total distance traveled by the car is 61 meters. For 1 meter we need 3 seconds. So for 61 meters we will need 183 seconds. Am I right? For 61 meters we will need 183 seconds. Let me check whether this works in our program. Okay, 6, 9, 3, 19. I get the answer as 165. The answer should have been 183. Okay. Why does this happen? Let us check the pair count. Okay. How many pairs do we have here? Backward, forward like that. We have 4 pairs. Last step is backward. So in our program, I should have had pair count as 4. Okay. This is where the error is. That is why I am telling you this line. I should have had pair count as 4. But here in this case the pair count is 3. Okay, that 165 is output, pair count is 3. Why is the pair count 3? What did I say? To calculate pair count, remaining positions divided by 3. Yes, so here in backward direction I'll move 9 steps. So what will I do? 19 minus 9. Okay, 19 minus 9 steps should be covered in last set, right? In last set, I will assume I should cover 9 meters, but in reality, I should cover only 7 meters. Can you see that? Yes, I should have covered 9 meters, but I'm covering only 7 meters. When I start the problem, I will say D minus B. That is, I will take this full 9 meters, but there is a chance that the distance will be less than 9 meters. How will I guess that? See, I'm moving in pairs. First pair will cover 3 positions. Second pair will cover 3 positions. Third pair will cover 3 positions. Yes, what will we do? We will take the difference divided by 3. Okay, we will take the difference. What is the difference? 10. Right? Take that difference divided by 3. When you divide it by 3, your answer will be 3. 10 by 3 in integer terms, answer is 3. So I can say I need 3 pairs only. But I can use 1 extra pair also. How can I identify that? See, in this case, the difference modulus 3 is not equal to 0. Here, the difference is not divisible by 3. But in previous case, for 18 meters, 18 minus 9, your answer is 9, which is divisible by 3. Can you understand the difference? If the difference is divisible by 3, then you get the right number of pairs. If the difference is not divisible by 3, if the difference is not divisible by 3, I will get 1 extra pair. Is that clear? So here, check whether the difference, which variable has the difference? Remaining positions. Yes, if the remaining positions are not divisible by position, which is 3. If it is not divisible, you will have one more pair. So pair count plus plus. Okay. So now let me check this. 6, 9, 3, 90. You get the answer as 201. Did I make any mistakes with the calculation? Okay, initially 0 meters, then we traveled 9 meters. Okay, I'll try it with the naive solution. That will give us 6, 9, 3, 19. Okay, the answer is 201. Maybe I've made a mistake with the calculation. 9, then 6 plus 9 plus 6 plus 9 plus 6 plus 9. Okay, this is where I made a mistake. Yes, this is where I made a mistake. Plus 6 will give us 60. After the 60, we'll move by 7 meters. So 67. Yes. Backward 54. Then I moved forward. So add that 6 meters. Then I'll move backward by 7 meters. So 67. So your answer will be 67 into 3. What is 67 into 3? 201. So we get the right answer. Is it clear? Okay. So only thing is, if difference is not divisible, you will have one extra pair. Okay. So identify that one extra pair. If you can find that one extra pair, increase pair count. This will be your final program with nil loops. No loops at all. Clear? I don't have any loops here. Just do all the calculations. Once you finish off all the calculations, you'll get the answer. Look at that. Finishes off in a matter of 10 lines maximum. Okay. Now if you recollect the question, they said it is not going to be only one scenario. They might give you multiple scenarios. So get the number of test cases and repeat the process based on the number of test cases. Okay, so for count equal to 1, count less than or equal to test cases, count plus plus. So for all the test cases, for many cars, get all the values and print the values. Okay, so add a slash in between them. That's it. Same process will be repeated for multiple cars in this solution as well as in your naive solution. Okay, in naive solution also get the number of test cases, get the number of test cases. After you get the number of test cases, repeat this process for each scenario. For each case, calculate what is the time required. All right. Okay, that's it. We have completed the program. So the naive solution may seem simple, but as we know, it is going to take too much time. Looping part. Yes. Try to understand this one, guys. At first, for one or two times, it may appear to be difficult, but once you start solving it, you'll get very comfortable with this method. Okay. So if you have any doubts, join us in the doubt clearing session. Thank you.